Aaron walking out was not just a quiet moment of frustration. It was explosive, sudden, and shocking, the kind of move no one saw coming but somehow everyone feared might happen one day. The news broke like wildfire, headlines screaming about divorce papers being filed, and the sound of doors slamming, both figuratively and literally, echoed through the public eye. At the center of it all was a marriage that had already been tested by rumors, whispers, and hidden shadows, but this time the weight of betrayal was too heavy to bear. Aaron didn't just leave a home. He walked away from trust, from a love that had been cracked too many times before, and from a story that seemed to replay itself like a broken record. And what made it sting even more was the name tied to this heartbreak. The name that just kept returning to haunt their lives. Iman. Once again, a secret connected to Iman leaked out. And once again, it tore everything apart. It was not just about love anymore. It was about survival, dignity, and the unbearable thought of being trapped in the same cycle forever. What makes this moment so messy is the blend of betrayal, anger, and confusion pouring out from every side. Was it truly Teyana's fault, or was she stuck in a web she couldn't fully escape? Was Aaron justified in slamming the door shut this time, refusing to pick up the pieces once again? These are the questions flooding people's minds, the questions fueling the fire as fans, critics, and onlookers tear into every angle of the scandal. And the promise that lies ahead is clear. More details are coming, more reactions will unfold, and the truth, whatever shape it takes, will leave scars no one can easily forget. This is not just another celebrity breakup. This is a collapse that feels raw, ugly, and painfully human. The breaking news first surfaced in the early morning hours, and for many people scrolling their feeds, it felt like déjà vu. Teyana Taylor's name trended almost instantly, paired with Aaron's, paired with Iman's, tied together in a triangle that refused to fade away. Reports confirmed that divorce papers had indeed been filed, and the language of those filings suggested finality, a decisive step away from reconciliation. Insiders whispered that Aaron had reached a breaking point the night before, storming out after an argument that left no room for second chances. That argument wasn't just about trust. It was about years of shadows, whispers, and wounds that never fully healed. By the time the sun came up, Aaron was gone, and the official filings were in motion. For fans, the shock was overwhelming, but for those who had followed the roller coaster of this relationship, the surprise was mixed with an unsettling sense of inevitability. Aaron walking out wasn't just a dramatic choice. It was a symbol of someone finally saying enough. Enough of the recycled secrets, enough of carrying the weight of mistakes that didn't belong to him, and enough of pretending everything was okay for the cameras, the fans, and the illusion of stability. Sources close to the couple described the exit as both heartbreaking and explosive, with Aaron leaving behind not just a partner, but also a family unit that had tried so hard to hold itself together. The rumors of shouting, tears, and slammed doors added fuel to the fire, and while official statements were scarce, the silence spoke volumes. When someone walks out in that way, it isn't about a single mistake, it's about the last straw breaking a back that was already bent and fractured. And yet, in the swirl of confirmed reports and whispered rumors, one thing stood out as undeniable. This wasn't a private matter anymore. It was a public storm, a spectacle, something that lived and breathed in the headlines, on social media, in conversations whispered between fans and critics alike. The difference between what was confirmed and what was rumored became almost irrelevant, because the damage had already been done. Divorce filings aren't a rumor. Walking out isn't a rumor. Those are actions, irreversible steps that draw lines in the sand, leaving everyone to wonder if there is any path back. What began as whispers of betrayal had turned into a story of collapse, one that demanded attention, one that drew people in with its rawness and messiness. The emotional sting of this news wasn't just in the facts. It was in the realization that a marriage, once seen as strong enough to weather storms, had finally fallen apart under the weight of repeated betrayals. Fans felt betrayed, too, as if the love story they had once admired was nothing more than smoke and mirrors. The sense of collapse reached beyond Aaron and Teyana, spilling into the way people think about love, loyalty, and whether trust can truly survive when old wounds keep reopening. It wasn't just gossip. It was a mirror to the fragility of human relationships, reminding everyone that even the strongest bonds can snap when pressure becomes unbearable. When people look back at Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert's relationship, they often remember how it all began with what looked like pure magic. Their love story wasn't just private, it was on display, and it quickly became a symbol of what fans like to call couple goals. They had the picture-perfect moments, the sweet social media posts, the red carpet appearances where their chemistry felt so undeniable, and the way they spoke about each other with pride and passion. To the outside world, it looked unshakable, almost too good to be true. And maybe that was part of the problem, because behind the glossy surface, the cracks were already forming, even if no one wanted to believe it. The fairy tale love story that inspired so many was quietly building toward the chaos we are witnessing today. It didn't take long before whispers began to follow them. At first, those whispers were brushed off as jealousy, as just another case of the public trying to tear down a strong couple. But then came the first real scandal, the first sign that maybe everything wasn't as perfect as it seemed. Allegations of infidelity started circling, and although both Teyana and Iman tried to downplay the rumors, fans could sense that something wasn't quite right. They tried to move past it, to hold on to the image they had created together, but the truth is, trust once broken rarely feels the same again. For every smile they showed in public, there was doubt lingering in private. And that doubt grew louder every time another rumor surfaced. What made their story even harder to ignore was how public it always became. Unlike couples who keep their struggles behind closed doors, Teyana and Iman lived in a spotlight that magnified everything. Each fight, each reconciliation, and each rumor played out like an ongoing series for the world to watch. And with every leak, with every accusation, it became clearer that this wasn't just normal relationship drama. It was something deeper, something that would keep coming back to haunt them. The love that had once looked unbreakable was constantly being tested, and while they tried to rebuild, the foundation had already been shaken too many times. Fans often described them as survivors, people who could withstand anything because of